afternoon. Welcome to Selling the Caribbean's Business Unusual Real Estate Series, which is backed by popular demand. My name is Alexander Bertel, and I'm the editor-in-chief of Caribbean Journal and Caribbean Journal Invest, and we're the media partners to Selling the Caribbean. Today, we're going to be talking exclusively about Central America and about two very different but equally vibrant destinations. One, Roatan Island off the Caribbean coast of Honduras, and Panama City, Panama, specifically the area in the capital called Punta Pacifica. Today, we'll be speaking with Anna Moskowitz, the broker and owner of Lux Roatan Real Estate in Honduras. She's also a resort and second home property specialist through the National Association of Realtors. Also with us today are Yari Pere and Jose Alvarola, both with Punta Pacifica Realty in Panama City, and they're a dynamic husband and wife team. I also want to mention that Yari is a certified life coach, and she has her own podcast called Level Up. If anyone has any questions along the way, please post them in the Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom screen. We'll try and get through as many of them as we can. And thanks again for tuning in. We really appreciate it. So let's start with you, Jose. Tell us a little bit about the real estate market and what it's like in Panama City.
Well, we have a very interesting thing in Panama. Just to talk a little bit about the country, the Panama, we offer a very interesting contrast in the country. We offer a very modern city, right on the city, so where you can find skyscrapers, luxury brands right now in the city. And in just 20 minutes or 45 minutes, you can be in one of the most nicest islands in the Pacific Ocean. We have close to, 200 islands, close to the city of Panama. So, the country offers you this variety of different environments. In the real estate, we have been doing very well since 2010, I will say. Obviously, we have had some decrease with the global crisis that we are all facing right now. But the country offers a variety of real estate. As I mentioned, we have luxury brands in the city of Panama. For example, the Fendi building. We have the former Trump building, now JW Marriott. We also have the Ritz-Carlton Reserve, which is located in one of the islands that we have in Panama, and which is located, about an hour and a half from the city of Panama. And we also have two man-made islands right on the heart of Panama City by the name of Ocean Reef. So yeah, we have a lot of things to offer, great projects right now. And we have a lot of investors coming into Panama for different reasons. So yeah, basically that's what we have in Panama. Obviously we have real estate also in the beaches area and also on the mountains as well.
Great. Now, Yari, tell me, you guys are based in Punta Pacifica. Can you tell us what that area is and sort of how it's different than Panama City itself?
We are based in Punta Pacifica. Punta Pacifica is one of the most exclusive neighborhoods, residential neighborhoods in Panama City. The good thing of Punta Pacifica is that it's in the center of the city without being in that crowded area. You're 5 minutes from the financial district, and you are 20 minutes from the airport. And like Jose mentioned, right now, Ocean Reef Islands is actually located in Punta Pacifica. So owners for people that buy in Ocean Reef, they actually have their own private marina also in that area. So you can take your boat and you can go to the amazing islands that Jose was talking about. 1 hour and a half, you're in the Ritz or in this Pacific Ocean islands. So it's very well located. It has a big expat community and also Panamanian. So it's a mix of locals and expat. It's close to everything. Malls are 5 minutes distance. The main hospitals are also like 3 minutes away by car. So it's very well located. I would say that would be the highlight of this area.
Wow. And you mentioned Ocean Reef Islands. Let's talk about that now. Tell us a little bit about what that project is, because I think it's a very, very fascinating development.
Yeah, it's a very unique project. everything began, back in 2004 when a group of Panamanians, they were dreaming on having this amazing island right on the city of Panama. And they wanted to have a marina like people have in South Florida, where they have their boats right behind of their houses. So they wanted to have something similar. They wanted to create a spectacular private community where people, could enjoy their boats right in front of their house. And, right now it's our reality. We got two islands right now, and they are connected through a bridge between one island and the other island. And they are actually attached to the land, so you don't have to take a ferry to get to the island. And as I mentioned, those islands are located right on the heart of Panama City. So you're going to be able to live in a close community, gated community with a marina, and you're going to be 5 minutes away from downtown Panama. So, you don't have to listen to the noise of the traffic or the noise of the city. Instead, you can listen to the birds singing like every morning and every afternoon, or you can watch different type of fish, crossing by right in front of your house. So, yeah.
These are man-made islands, right? Those
are man-made islands, yeah. Those are man-made islands, and we have a little bit of everything. We have villas for people to buy. We have condos. We have also lots, so people can buy a lot and they can build their houses. And so it's going to be also, we're going to have a yacht club in the middle of those two islands. And as I mentioned, we currently have a marina.
Awesome. Well, let's go to Anna now. Anna, thanks for being with us. Tell us a little bit about what Roatan is like for people who don't know.
I'd like to start off telling everyone about the Bay Islands. The Bay Islands are off the coast of Honduras, about a 15-minute plane ride and a 45-minute ferry ride. The Bay Islands consist of 8 islands and 53 small cays. Roatan is the largest of the Bay Islands, and it's situated between Utila and Guanaja. And it's surrounded by the largest barrier reef in the Caribbean. So we have a very healthy reef here. Imagine you guys lush valleys and mangrove shorelines and iron shorelines and sandy beaches. That's what Roatan is like. Roatan has a vibrant expat community, and people come here to not only enjoy their investment properties or their vacations, but they also come here to enjoy volunteering and that sort of thing. We've got a lot of nonprofits here, so people can actually do a lot of good here on the island. The type of businesses that we have are really non-brands. They're really authentic, mom and pop type, but still luxury and really wonderful cuisine here. One of the fabulous things about Roatan is, as I mentioned, the healthy reef, but we also have the main attraction here is scuba diving and of course snorkeling for people that don't scuba dive. The type of people that purchase here are usually, they buy their second homes and use them for vacations, or they're retirees that come from Canada and the United States. We also have investors who buy property or buy land in land bank, wait for the property values to increase.
And what's the market itself like? Are people looking at condos or single family? What's sort of the mix like for people?
Condos are a big hit here. And also a lot of people are building and buying up land right now. A lot of the beachfront is disappearing. A lot of the hill sea views are disappearing. A lot of people want gated communities. And again, they come here and they invest in properties and vacation here and then use them as properties throughout the year. But again, a lot of people are buying land and building custom homes. They really are deciding different areas. They're, reassessing where they are living now and deciding maybe they want more outdoor space. Maybe they want to work remotely. they're really rethinking their lifestyle right now and moving here.
Makes a lot of sense. I think we're seeing that all over the Caribbean. It's a very big trend. Jose, let me ask you first about sort of how the pandemic and everything's been affecting your business. What are you seeing, both from buyers and investors? How have things changed for you?
Well, definitely it's changed a lot. I mean, when we started the pandemic back in at the end of March, beginning of April, I mean, we didn't know how things were going to be, obviously, as I think everybody else in the world. As the time, continue, we start, being a little bit creative. I would say a lot of, we bring a lot of creativeness, and we came up with different type of incentives for our clients, for our investors. So because we wanted to give that certainty to our clients, to our investors. So we came up with a different incentive for people to buy. For example, we are providing direct financing from the developer up to 20 years with, few documentation that people need to provide. So basically people are pre-approved as opposed to going to a bank where, you're going to have to put a lot of documentation from two different banks. We are guaranteed, for example, for people that want to buy a property and they want to put it into rent, we're guaranteed that we're going to rent that for 2 consecutive years. So we came up with a different strategy. And as I mentioned, the whole purpose is to give that sense of certainty to our clients.
Anna, let me ask you the same question. How have things changed for you in your brokerage, right, since the pandemic?
I actually listened into you guys on your very first Business Unusual, and I enjoyed it. I reached out to some people I collaborate with in Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas and in Florida, and you had some of them on your panel, and they talked about doing lifestyle videos and FaceTime viewing to have a more personalized approach for their clients. And I did the same thing. We actually have we have 1 closing going through and 7 other closings happening now. So that it actually works. It worked.
Those are remote.
Thank you very much for having that seminar. That kind of jump-started us here.
Great.
Thank you.
So those are like remote transactions. Those are people who didn't.
Yeah.
And is Roatan still, is it opened up to tourism and can you
we opened up August 22nd to visitors and people, and we opened up the 22nd of August. And so we have different protocols in place and standards for the local population and visitors. And we're open for business. We're ready.
Great. Yeah, I think more and more destinations are finally, some by choice, some by necessity, reopening. Jose, is Panama open for tourism now?
We're scheduled to open on October the 12th.
Okay.
So, I mean, right now, Panamanians can go out and can come into the country, but for the international, for the whole world, we're going to be open on October the 12th.
Right. And Yari, let me ask you, who are the buyers you're seeing right now, or where's the activity and the interest coming from?
I would say, for example, right now, in our company, we actually work with 95% investors from different parts of the world. So that's our main focus. But I can say that right now, we also have a lot of movement in the last 2 months. We actually, August was one of our best months, even before the pandemic. Actually, we were able to close 9 contracts in August, and we have probably around 5 more contracts in line to be, more than 5 contracts in line to be closed this month. So we started to get some activity also here. We never stop, actually. I think we did a quick shift in this back in June. In May, we actually started doing virtual tours, getting all the stuff that we could provide to our clients. I would say we have always have a big amount of investors from US and Canada. Nevertheless, the last years, we were getting a lot of people from South America. So we have investors from Argentina. We're getting people from Chile, Bolivia, coming to Panama and looking to relocate also. Not only investment, because we have a very easy residency process in Panama. So, and there's some tax incentive also that are very appealing for people to relocate and get a Panamanian residency. We have something that's called the Friendly Nations residency. So there's quite a good amount of countries that apply to that. Residence very quick, takes about 6 to 8 months, and you can get your residency in Panama and you can establish here. So that's one thing that it's been nice for, I think, mostly people from South America looking, and also Germany. I have to say Germany. We got a lot of investors from Germany also coming in the last year.
So in general, it's a pretty easy process to purchase real estate.
It's a pretty easy process, and I would say we as a country have done a very good job receiving people from other parts of the world. You know, Panama is very safe in compared to many countries in Latin America. Panama is really a safe place. People can actually, you know, we have clients that come and they don't want to use their yearly and they at the beginning, and then they're like, oh, everybody has their phone out, everybody it's walking and you know, it's very safe. So that's very appealing. Of course, like any other country, there's always neighborhoods that you don't want to go, but that's everywhere. But overall, it's very safe, and we use the dollar. So I think that's also something that makes it very smooth for people in US, for example, in Canada as well. So it's very easy, the process to come here, to come to Panama.
Great. Anna, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it's like to purchase real estate in Roatan?
It's easy to purchase real estate in Roatan. You don't need a residency to purchase land or residential property. You can purchase property in your own name, or in the corporation, in the name of the corporation, if it's larger than a certain amount of land. You need an attorney to help you with that process, and it takes about 6 to 8 months. You continue to have your own citizenship. So a residency doesn't mean you give up your citizenship. It just means you can stay here longer than 90 days.
Okay.
You know, that's all.
Is there any kind of threshold to achieve residency, or it just, what sort of is there a requirement of how much you have to spend on property, or?
No. We have different types of residencies. So no, there isn't, to answer your question directly and in general.
Okay. And Jose, you already was talking a little bit about Panama's program for residency. Can you add a little more about that, or is there a threshold for what you have to spend, or is it more sort of an administrative process?
Oh, we have different programs for people to get a residency, and also going back to purchase a property in Panama is the same as on Roatan. You don't have to have a residency for you to purchase a property. What you can purchase a property and have the residency. We have different programs right now, and one of the most common programs that people prefer is the one that's called Friendly Nations. More than 50 countries apply for that program, and it's very easy. You have to provide few documentation, and in a period of 6 to 8 months, you can easily get Panamanian residency.
And you talked about Ocean Reef Islands, but you have another new project that you were listing us. Is it Seascape?
Yeah, Seascape.
Talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Seascape is a residential community that focuses on wellness and a healthier lifestyle. And it's located right on the Ocean Reef Island. Basically for people to be, more connected to nature. We're going to have a deck yoga right in front of the ocean, so you can receive the first ray of the sun We're going to have a juice bar right on the ground floor of the building, so you can grab fresh juice every morning. We're going to have a small room where you can actually, or a co-working space, so you can actually stay in your community. You don't have to go to a different place for you to have a webinar or a presentation. And we're going to have also a wine cellar, so you could easily keep your wine to the right temperature. So yeah, it's full of amenities. And that particular project is located, as I mentioned, right on Ocean Reef. So aside from all the amenities that I mentioned, you're going to be able to enjoy all the options, all the amenities that you have in the island. We currently have tennis court, basketball. You can easily go, because we have direct access to the ocean. So you can easily stand or paddle. You can kayaking, or you can use your jet ski or rent a jet ski, and everything right in front of your house.
Wow. Yari, tell us a little bit about it. What was striking to me when I first went to Panama was just the scale of development of buildings, and then also kind of what Jose was talking about the brands and the level of brands that are there. Is that a recent thing? I mean, it seems like it's just been surging the last few years. I mean, a lot of these brands were not there 5-10 years ago.
The rentals, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in 2003, just to give you a little bit of history, the government created this law that opened the doors to multinational companies to come here with very, very good tax incentive and other incentive. Right. So that's what attracted companies. I remember, and I actually used to work back then in 2003, many years ago, in Dell Computers. So that was one of the first corporations that came in as a multinational company. And we started getting, like, today we have Procter & Gamble, Nestle, we have Johnson & Johnson. It's more than 120 companies that have opened their regional offices here in Panama. So of course, at the same time, we had this booming going on with the real estate. All this, because it's hard to tell. People don't imagine. When you come to Panama, you see all the high rises. It feels like a little Manhattan. Some areas people say it looks like Brickell in Miami. So people don't expect to see that when they're landing. They see outside the window of the airplane and they're like, oh my God, this is Panama. So we had all this construction going on and people started investing. And we also had all the community of expats that were being relocated from different parts of the world to rent these units. So they also invested sometimes, but mostly they rent because they are here for a smaller period of time, contracts for 2 years or 5. And so we have a very good rotation in regards to rentals. I would say that's one of the reasons why investors are interested in Panama. In that same line, we just got last week a new law approved that is opening a different niche in the manufacturing, multinational manufacturing services. So now there's about 100 new companies looking to come to Panama. So that's why we feel that right now there's something very interesting going on in that regards, So yeah, that's the reason why so many people rent, because we have a lot of expat and multinational companies in Panama.
Interesting. Anna, I want to ask you this. Roatan seems to be defined in a lot of ways by its eco-friendliness and it's in the environment. You mentioned the diving sector. Another new trend seems to be green energy. Can you talk a little bit about that? A lot more residential offerings have solar, and tell us about that.
Yeah, I want to, but first I want to tell Jose, I want to go to Panama. I want to go see Ocean Reef. It sounds really, really beautiful. I've been there before, and I've been to the Trump apartments there and the Casa Viejo. I bet those islands are beautiful. Well, on Roatan, we are kind of forefront of green. I don't know, what would you say? We're green initiatives, and we're also doing a lot of educational initiatives. As I said, there's a large expat community. So we're pushing that along with the islanders here. We have a really strong community and we're very connected with the island community here. And we band together and have initiatives like single-use plastic initiative. And we've had the restaurants, there's the initiative demanded actually it's a law that restaurants use single-use plastics. And we have a congressional law here where the whole Bay Islands are surrounded by a marine park. And so we have a law where we protect the islands. We also, our electric company is expanding its solar footprint to the North Shore. So those are some of the things that happen here. We also have many homes and businesses also that are going green and using solar. So we have many homes here that are on solar and on the grid. I've got a couple of properties. One is in a community called Palmetto Bay. It's a beautiful remote seaside community with over 80 acres of green space. And I have homes here listed. One's in a state property called Little Farm by the Sea. And it's 7,500 square feet and it's got over 2 acres. It's got a horse and animals here and just spa and pool, and the kitchen has just all the amenities, too many to mention. And I've got another property that's on solar here called the Hideaway, and that's another beautiful place that's really secluded and just gorgeous too. So a lot of homes and a lot of people, as I said, purchasing land and building and giving themselves more open space and more indoor space and just a little home offices, that sort of thing. So we're seeing that happen here, and that's what Roatan is on the forefront for.
Yeah, and you mentioned the diving too. You actually have a listing of a dive company, is that right?
I have a dive resort that's on 3/4 of an acre on the North Shore. It's called Blue Island Divers, and it's a gorgeous piece of property. It's got 5 beach accommodations and a dock and a boat and tanks. It comes with everything you need to open and start your new lifestyle. Yeah. You can leave wherever you're from if you want to get away and come see us. Come see me.
Well, that's definitely a trend. Yeah, people definitely are looking for seclusion and privacy, private islands. So I think that's the sweet spot right now. So obviously things have changed. Real estate's changed. I think we do see an increase all across the wider. I like to say the Caribbean basin and include Panama in that. And people are just people are moving. People are buying foreign properties. How are you guys capturing clients and capturing new customers right now? What are you guys doing? I'll start with you, Jose. How are you reaching new customers right now?
Well, just to give you a little bit of history, in our company, Punta Pacifica Realty, we have a very strong presence in Google. So for the past 8 years, we have put a lot of information, into the Google platforms, in the internet. So I would say like 90% of our clients, they, as soon as they reach or try to find something for the real estate in Panama, our company is the one that shows up first. So I would say that we have a very strong presence in internet. And to your questions, I would say that, for us, for Yari and myself, and for everybody in our company, we do see this business as a relationship business. So we keep our relationship for many years. I've been able to close sales, I first met a client like 2 or 3 years ago, and then I continue the relationship, providing information about what's going on in Panama, all the incentives that we have, all the benefits, and then 2 or 3 years later, I might make a sale with that client. So I would say mostly internet. Yeah.
And what about you, Anna?
I'm doing just the lifestyle videos, and I'm doing the FaceTime showings, and a lot of my clients are referrals, and teaming up with Selling the Caribbean has helped me too. So thanks, you guys.
Yari, let me ask you this. Take me through a sort of a digital purchase of real estate, and what's the closing process like? How has that changed during the pandemic?
I would have to say that due to the fact that we do have a lot of investors from other parts of the world, we did a lot of we did the sell process with people that were not in Panama many times. So we already had that handle. It's quite simple. We have this new developments of that incentive programs, as I mentioned before. And those are units that are pre-construction. So we take them through the digital tour, the online tours. So we send all the information. We do go there, you know, we have views from each apartment. We have all the information required. Let's say once they pick a unit and they fall in love with a property, then it's quite simple. We do a reservation to take the unit they like off the market. That takes a few days while they review contracts and you know, the lawyer comes in with any comments and the changes or negotiation goes along. And once everything is agreed, then we can work with a digital signature for the promissory contract. So it's not a problem. And we also have, we can send original contracts to FedEx and back and forth. But for the promissory contracts, there's no problem. The other thing is a lot of people buy through corporations. So with the corporation, the client can assign somebody here in Panama that they trust to proceed and do the signature for a closing or anything. Back in 2011, I did hundreds of closings for the Trump Tower. They're clients that I have never seen in person yet. I still talk to them on email. Some I met like 5 years later, and they're like, "Oh, you're Yadi," and I'm like, "Yes." And so we did many closings. We actually created in our company, Punta Pacific Realty. We have a sister legal company called Panama Property Attorneys. It was just made pretty much to support all of our clients in their closing process. So we actually designed this firm that takes care of everything. We even, I don't think Gina knew this, but I'm also a decorator. I used to do all their turnkey packages and set up the apartments for people to rent back in 2012. And so we have like everything, a one-stop shop here to help all of our investors and make it as smooth as possible for them. So it's very simple.
About how long does the process take? If I called you today, I want to buy this condo, how long, is there a rough
if it's pre-construction property, it takes 2 weeks, you know, it's pretty simple. It's quite quick. It could take 2 weeks. And if you're buying a property, let's say in the former Trump a building that is already in construction, I can say if it's without financing, it might take a month and a half, more or less. Okay. Right now, all the country and the government, they also learn from this. So there's a more efficient process right now, digitalized, to register the properties and the public register and all that. So I would say like about a month and a half, 2 months if you're buying cash purchase, like you're paying all up front without a loan. If there's a loan involved, it might take a little bit longer.
Right. That's another question that a lot of people are interested in is what's sort of the financing like? Jose, you mentioned that there's some developer financing. What's, you know, without getting too civic, what are sort of the financing options that most of these foreign buyers have in Panama?
Yes. We are looking into, for example, for 20 years, loan. We're talking about 7% interest rate. Which I understand some, I have many clients, that they say that they can get, interest rates lower in the United States, which I understand that. Here's a little bit different. it was, since the pandemic that we had this option for our clients. And we have other projects as well that we are providing what we call a bridge loan. So that allows people to, get a loan, right away, so they can build like a financial history in Panama. And if they want to move to a better terms, they can do that, basically without penalty.
Interesting. Anna, let me ask you the same question about the process. What's the process like for these digital purchases or remote purchases in Roatan?
Well, closings are the same as the United States here. You have you show your property, you have a buyer, you sign the contract, you have the seller and the buyer agree upon the price, and they can sign with a they sign with a POA. The financing here, we don't really have financing. It's a cash market. So, okay. And closings take, we have had closings take 2 weeks. That's a rarity, but it's usually 30 to 60 days, and sometimes longer if there's title issues. If the company you're choosing or the real estate brokerage hasn't done proper titles, or the chain of title, then you're going to have problems with that. So it's key to pick the right brokerage.
Yeah. Is there one area of the island that seems to be generating the most interest for you right now?
The Sandy Bay area is pretty big right now. It's a little remote from the main areas like West End and West Bay. So you can live kind of close to the city, or the nightlife in the more hustling, bustling areas, more touristy areas, that still have a remote location. So those are pretty big right now.
Right. Jose, you mentioned some of the incentives for buyers. Is there what's sort of the property tax environment like in Panama? Is there a property tax?
Yes, we do have property tax for sure. Just to give you a little bit of history as well. Back in 2000. I would say 4 or 5. The law, we have a law that allows people to not pay property tax for 20 years. So we just wanted to bring a lot of investors into the country. Right now, that law is finished. We don't have that law anymore. And basically, I would say, like in a general terms, for a 2-bedroom property right now, let's say for 2,000 square feet, you will be paying like less than $3,000 per year right now.
Wow. Okay. And Anna, what are the tax situations like generally in Roatan?
Generally speaking, you can expect they're low taxes. You can spend or pay about $400 per $100,000. So we have really low property taxes. We don't have any tax incentives, and we have high financing here, but you can get a home equity loan from your country of origin and buy that way, or pay cash.
Right. And it seems like Roatan is one of the best value real estate destinations, right? Tell us about that.
Right. We have a lower cost of properties here in the Caribbean compared to other areas in the Caribbean. Our real estate costs are way less. They're rising, and I predict they're going to continue to rise.
Wow. And Jose, tell us a little about, and Yari as well, tell us a little bit about the sort of the price points that are out there, and what are the price points that seem to be attracting the most interest right now for you?
We have all types of properties right now here for investment. For example, I would highlight right now the properties that we have in the incentive programs, because those are like the most interesting right now. Right. We have a property starting from $200,000 in modern new buildings with many amenities, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and we have another development in a neighborhood called Santa Maria. It's also a very exclusive community that is surrounded by a Jack Nicklaus design golf course. So there's a community around the golf course, and and it's really nice. So we have a project in pre-construction going right now. It started construction already, and it has 17 amenities inside the building. So that's something very interesting. And we have property, one bedrooms there that start at $225,000. So you can find that range of products. And then if we go to Ocean Reef, of course, it's a higher ticket because we're on what I would call it's the most exclusive spot in Panama, and it's very unique. It's built not only for Panama. We say this is like a legacy for all Central America, with the man-made islands. And there we have units in Seascape, for example, that we talked about that before, starting at $750,000, giving you all that the islands actually have. You know, the islands, I would like to add that as well. It's really exclusive. You have helipads, so you can set up, you know, your pickup in the airport on a helicopter and arrive to your house. No traffic, you know. So that's the thing. You can actually set up a charter boat to take you to the per islands. You can have set up maybe a dinner around the Bay of Panama in the sunset time. So the island offers you like a la carte. It's choices of exclusive things that you can do. So of course it's part of the whole community, and it's that's the range we get. Former Trump units, we have one bedrooms also. That's also a very interesting building. Even though there's new projects going on, it doesn't lose the attraction. You know, Anna said she stayed here. The building is really nice. You feel like inside a resort. And we have units around 350,000, more or less, depending on one bedrooms, two bedrooms, or bigger units. So that's what we have right now.
Interesting. Anna, you're also a resort specialist. Can you talk a little bit about, is the market for resorts and hotels right now on the island?
Resort properties are in demand and right now, and we're seeing a lot of interested buyers coming in, or even waiting to come to the island to take a look and possibly purchase. Our recent sales here are up over the 500 price point. They inch up to that. So that's what we're seeing here.
So let me ask you this. I mean, what do you guys, what is the biggest challenge right now that you got, other than not being able to sometimes show the properties in person? What's the biggest challenge you guys are seeing right now? I'll start with you, Jose.
Yeah, obviously, the uncertainty when we start back in, of course, April. I mean, as I mentioned, we didn't know what to expect at that time, and also not being able to actually show properties physically. As later on, we found different options, as Yari mentioned. We show properties through live tours. We hire a professional photographer so he could take great pictures. For example, for Ocean Reef, we currently have high-end definitions video, so I can easily, and sometimes it's funny because through the tours, through the virtual tour of the Ocean Reef, I think it's easier for someone to really understand the perspective and the location of the island, as opposed to me bringing someone to the island. Of course, it's a different experience. Sure. But yeah, we have been able to find different options. But overall, to your question, I will say that would be the biggest issue. I mean, a lot of people, we were expecting a lot of investors and a lot of people that were going to buy a property in Panama, and they were going to be right here in the country in April, May, or June. And they are, in their countries, they haven't been able to come to Panama. So even though we have been able to make sales, actually, we came up with an article yesterday that we made $6.6 million in sales last month. So we're doing very well in sales, but there are still people that they want to first come to Panama to see things, as opposed to others that are willing to purchase something overseas. So, I would say that that would be the biggest issue. There are a lot of people, still a lot of people that they prefer to come to Panama, and even though it might be like a pre-construction development, they prefer to be here in Panama to first see everything and then decide whether they want to proceed or not.
I don't know. What about you? What's the biggest challenge for you in your business right now?
I think that people have gotten used to remote showings. I think it's working.
Yeah.
I think people still want to come here because it's exciting. And, I want things to go back to normal. So, I miss seeing people face to face, just like what Jose said and what they're dealing with. We're all in this together, actually. We're doing our best, and the virtual tours and the personalized approach it's working. The 3D tours that we're all using and the lifestyle videos, that's all working.
It's good to hear.
It's a challenge, but again, I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm glad to be with all the other panelists here. It's great to meet you all.
And we actually have a question from the audience from Mark Siegel. I think Jose and Yari, you can answer this. What new hotel and resort projects are in Panama City and the islands are being planned with residences? And what, if any, what are the brands that are associated with some of those projects?
Okay, so you want to answer this one, Jose, or I take it? I'll take it. So we have brands. We have JW Marriott in Panama. We have Waldorf Astoria also here. Hilton. So I think all the main hotel brands, pretty much all of them are right now here. Intercontinental. So all these brands are in Panama already. I would say the highlight, it's the Ritz-Carlton Reserve. There are actually just 4 all over the world, and the 5th is going to be here in Panama. It's an island resort, barefoot experience type, and that's in construction right now. So I would say that one's something that we're expecting in the same island where they're doing that. Where there's plans to have a 6 senses probably, or so in that island, that's going to be top destination for somebody that's looking for that. And we also have along Panama, we have all, because Panama is very small, but it has both oceans. We have Pacific and we have the Atlantic as well. So along the Pacific Ocean, we have main resorts, also beachfront resorts, and also beachfront properties that are already built. There's more to come, but there's also some hotels on the beach areas as well. And then we have an area called Boquete in Chiriquí. It's a mountain area. There's also like some golf resorts over there, and boutique, like Anna mentioned, like the ones in Roatan, maybe more local, but very high-end boutique hotels as well. So we have that mix and match. But in Panama City, we have the main brands. We have the Hilton, we have Marriott, we have all of those.
Cool. We have another question from Gary Hieronymus. He says, what percentage of long-term rentals are available? What's the availability of long-term rentals in Roatan and in Panama? I guess we could start with you, Anna. Tell us about the long-term rental market.
The long-term rental market is thriving here. I have a rental here called Little Beach House by the Sea, and it's booked starting December, actually. So we're picking up now. We are picking up. People are excited to get here, and I don't actually know the percentage, Gary, but I'd be happy to get that for you, get that information for you. But we have rentals all over the island. Some in remote areas on the east end of the island. That's a more pristine location. And we've got our government has revitalized the pavement and the roadways and paved them all the way through, so more remote areas are accessible now. And we have a lot of rentals over in the West Bay area, which is really fun community and fun people that live there. And also West End is the most famous in Roatan, and that has rentals too. That's really fun. You guys need to visit Roatan. It's really fun.
We all
Sure.
It's really beautiful here, really and truly. Yeah.
We have now, I think last year, they did a direct flight from Panama to Roatan.
Come on over and stay
Oh,
with
wow.
me.
So we'll be there as soon as we can.
I want to see you too.
For sure, yeah.
And what about in Panama? Can you give us an idea about the long-term rental?
Yeah, we are looking into 5% ROI, and going back to the incentives that we created, especially for this global crisis. We are currently providing incentives where we guarantee for investors 2 consecutive years, where we guarantee the rental for 2 consecutive years, and that will provide 6% ROI net. And that actually applies in one of the properties that Yari mentioned in this Gulf community, and also applies for Ocean Reef. So if you want to buy a property there and you want to put it into rent, you have 100% guarantee that the developer, once it's ready, will rent it for you for 2 consecutive years. He will provide 6% ROI.
So just to oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And I would say that I think for the fact that we have all the expat, the multinational, we have more of a bigger market that it's on a long-term rental program. Like we mostly get a 1-year contract. You know, that's our standard. And it's very rare to do 3-6 months. There are options of shorter terms, but mostly people are relocating to work or mostly.
So just to close, I wanted to give each of you a chance just to tell us sort of what's giving you optimism in your outlook for the real estate market in your destination. Let's start with you, Anna. What do you see ahead in your crystal ball?
In my crystal ball, as I mentioned before, I see Roatan expanding, prices increasing. It has to. This place is just gorgeous. It really, really is. We've got the infrastructure happening. We've got fabulous restaurants. We're on the largest barrier reef in the Caribbean with lush valleys and all the beauty that an island has to offer. A great community here. Really, really fun community. I'm going to divert, like the events here, we have live music, and everybody posts on Facebook and says, hey, we're having a party at Roatan Brewery, for example. Everybody shows up. We have little fun games and barbecues, but what I see is a lot of large land parcels being bought up and developed is what I see. We have Kipson, one brand coming in here, and we've heard of rumors of the Hilton coming in on the North Shore. It hasn't happened yet, but there's write-ups and rumors about it. And I see beachfront and sea view properties disappearing. But honestly and actually, we have beautiful, lush valleys that are here. So they're, to me, there's not a bad place to purchase here on Roatan. Awesome. So I basically see pricing increase and that sort of thing.
Cool. Just last to close, Jose and Yari, what do you see ahead in Panama?
Oh, we see a bright future for 2021. Obviously, right now we are in a difficult times right here in Panama, and I think for everybody in the world. But the government is implementing different incentives overall for continuing to attract investors around the world. As Yari mentioned, we came up with a new law that will attract, potentially like 100 new companies. And those companies brings people from their countries. So those are people that invest in Panama. They rent places. They put money into the economy. So, we have, we see a very good future for 2021 right here in Panama for sure.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank first Anna Moskowitz of Lux Roatan Real Estate, Yari Pere and Jose Alberola of Punta Pacifica Realty, and of course, Gina De Verona, who are hosts from Selling the Caribbean. Make sure you follow Anna on Instagram at Selling the Bay Islands. and at Lux Roatan Real Estate. And Yari can be found at Yari Realtor, and Jose is at Jose A-Art. I want to thank you all so much. It's been a wonderful panel. And most of all, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.